If you are a senior citizen receiving food stamps or know someone in your family who depends on SNAP benefits, please pay close attention to this video. There is some serious news developing, and it could directly impact the millions of Americans who rely on SNAP to put food on the table. Reports are now confirming that November 2025 food stamp benefits could be delayed, and not just by a few days, but potentially indefinitely, if the current government shutdown continues. This situation could affect around 42 million Americans, including seniors, families with children, and individuals with disabilities. So, before we start, if you're new here, please take a second to subscribe and hit that like button so you don't miss future updates. And if you've been following my channel for a while, thank you for always tuning in. Now, let's break down what's really going on and why millions of people may not receive their food stamp benefits in November. According to a new report from USA Today, the U.S. Department of Agriculture, which oversees the SNAP program, has warned state agencies that there may not be enough funds to pay out November benefits if the government shutdown continues. The USDA sent a letter to all states on October 10th, saying that the ongoing lapse in federal funding could result in insufficient funds to pay November SNAP benefits for approximately 42 million individuals. That letter was signed by Sasha Geston-Paul, the SNAP Development Director, and shared publicly by the North Carolina Department of Social and Human Services. So what exactly does that mean? Each month, every state has to request money from the USDA based on how many people are currently receiving SNAP benefits. That's how the federal government allocates funds for each state's food assistance program. But this month, the USDA has told states not to even bother sending their November funding requests. They've been instructed to pause the process until further notice. As of October 16th, the USDA officially told states to hold off on requesting funds or sending data to the EBT vendors that handle electronic benefit payments. Normally, states send that information ahead of time to make sure that your EBT card gets loaded with benefits on your scheduled date. But since the USDA isn't approving those requests right now, states can't move forward with that process. Even if the shutdown ends soon, it may take several days or even weeks for the system to get back up and running, because payments are processed in stages and scheduled in advance. This delay could be especially devastating for households that rely on SNAP as their main source of groceries each month. Seniors on fixed incomes, single parents, and families with young children could all face uncertainty heading into November. And unfortunately, states can't just step in and fill the gap themselves. SNAP is a federally funded program. For example, the state of Illinois alone distributes around $350 million in food stamp benefits every month. That's money only the federal government can provide. No state has the resources to replace that funding if it stops. Some states like North Carolina, Wisconsin, and Minnesota are already warning their residents about possible delays. Letters and notices are being sent out advising households to plan ahead, manage food carefully, and look into local assistance programs if needed. Some states have even paused processing new SNAP applications because of the uncertainty around November's payments. Their systems are unable to separate October and November funds without risking compliance issues during the shutdown. Now, if you're watching this and you depend on SNAP, I know how stressful this situation can be. You're probably wondering how to prepare. First, make sure you stretch your resources as much as possible this month. Try to stock up on basic non-perishable items if you can afford to. Plan your meals carefully and cut down on any unnecessary expenses. It's also a good idea to check for local food banks or community food distribution events in your area. You can call 211 anywhere in the U.S. to connect with local agencies that offer food assistance and other emergency support during times like this. Another thing to keep in mind is that even if the government shutdown ends in late October or early November, there might still be a delay in processing the SNAP payments because states need time to reload the systems and verify recipient data. That's why it's so important to stay informed and not assume everything will return to normal overnight once the shutdown ends. This kind of uncertainty shows how fragile our benefit systems can be when the government faces budget disputes or political gridlock. Millions of families rely on this support every single month to survive. And when those benefits are delayed, it doesn't just affect households, it affects local grocery stores, community programs, and the overall economy in low-income areas. The USDA has said it's monitoring the situation closely, but without congressional authorization to allocate new funds, they're essentially powerless to continue issuing benefits. The only way this situation will be resolved is if Congress passes a funding bill or an emergency resolution that allows the USDA to access the money it needs to continue the program. So where do things stand right now? According to the latest reports, there's still no deal in Congress to end the shutdown. The Speaker of the House has even indicated that he expects it to drag on through November, which would directly affect SNAP recipients. That's why this is such a big deal. It's not just another policy discussion, it's about real people, real families, and real meals that may not happen without this assistance. I know many of you depend on these benefits not just for yourself, but for your kids, grandkids, and loved ones. Please don't panic, but do stay alert. Use this time to make backup plans, reach out to local organizations, and keep watching for updates. Before we wrap up, I want to remind you that you can always stay connected for real-time updates. When there's breaking news about Social Security, SNAP, or Medicare, I'll make sure you're the first to know. So make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. Thank you for watching, and please share this video with anyone you know who relies on SNAP or food stamps. It could help them plan ahead and avoid being caught off guard. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you in the next update.